There's a podcast where they talk about punk rock. It's not two guys stroking their cocks. It's two chicks with tits from opposite continents. They rarely check out new bands or rarely wear any pants. Shaving lady parts. They're not on the iTunes charts. Mable Syndrome. Why am I still listening to Mable Syndrome? Mable Syndrome. Why am I still listening to Mable Syndrome?
Hey everyone, welcome to the Mable Syndrome podcast. This is Kristen, and we usually start with where we're located because we're located all over the continental North America, so that's kind of fun. I'm coming at you from Boston, and I'll let my co-host Jessica introduce herself.
Hey everybody, as usual, I'm in my far west coast small town of Canada, farthest west you can go. Same continent. I know we use that joke all the time because of that one fuck up I did, but it is the same continent as Kristen. Just a different country. But yeah. And I guess I've never really said where the town I live in. The town I currently live in is called Port McNeill. So if anybody wants to Google that, it's called Port McNeill, and there's about 3,000 people here.
Yeah.
And about the same amount of animals. Same amount of animals as there are people. So that's where I currently am.
It's a 1-to-1 ratio, animals to people.
Pretty much. We're probably outnumbered, if I'm going to be honest.
Yeah. And our special guest for this episode of the Mable Syndrome podcast is Talli Osborne. And you know her as Nubs, possibly, but she's has many hats that she wears. She's an advocate, a singer, songwriter, professional speaker, hula hooper, all around badass. And we're so happy to have you on the podcast. Where are you coming from? Where are you located?
Thanks for having me. I'm actually in Hamilton, Canada, which is close to Toronto.
Yay.
Yeah, we have two Canadians.
Excited. I'm so excited to have a Canadian on the podcast.
Yeah, a lot of people, I know, Jess, you were surprised to hear that I was Canadian, and a lot of people are. They assume that I'm from California, which actually I feel like I was made to live in California. I feel like I was supposed to live there, but I am not. I am in Canada, which I do love Canada. It's just really, really, really fucking cold right now.
Yeah.
And you're in Toronto.
Else?
Pardon?
Have you ever lived anywhere else?
Just in this like kind of area of Canada. I lived in Toronto 15 years. And before that, a suburb of Toronto. And then before that, I was actually born in Montreal, Quebec. So a different province. But I only lived there for 1 year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That's so amazing. I'm so excited. When I found out, just like I assumed, California, right? Like that was just sort of the thing so when you had told me you're in Toronto, I got really excited and started thinking of all these really Canadian things we can talk about. So, and we've had a few Canadians on the podcast for sure, but it's a rare thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And well, Canadian punk rock women, like it's very,
yes.
it's a niche.
It's very niche.
It is. On our Mable Syndrome, we have a Facebook group for Mable Syndrome women, and it's just like to collect and have all the Mables from all over the world kind of congregate in this private, amazing little group. I think that it's not really little anymore, but I did like a roll call the other day to see like, hey, is there anybody else in Canada? And there was a lot of Canadian women popped up, which was cool. And there was even, because I'm on Vancouver Island, there was even a few on Vancouver Island, which to me is like, even though it's a few hours away, it's still super close. And I got really excited.
You live on Vancouver Island?
Yeah.
Who said your town? I was like, never heard of it, but I do know of it. Oh my God.
Yeah. So I live on the furthest, very northern tip of Vancouver Island.
Well, a couple summers ago, the summer before the garbage pandemic, I actually spoke on Hornby Island.
You did not.
Yeah.
I just got goosebumps. Oh my God.
Yeah. Is that close to you?
It's a few hours and a ferry ride away.
Everything's a few hours.
No, because Hornby is far from Vancouver. Like it took me 2 ferries and 3 car rides, which were like almost an hour each. Like it was.
Yeah. So Hornby
It was
Island is this like kind of small little destination island off of Vancouver Island, and it's super super hippie. It's like kind of like its old days are like, you know, it was originated by like the hippies kind of living there, but it's also a major destination for tourists to go and camp and hike and stay, and it's stunningly beautiful.
It's beautiful. It was
What?
honestly probably the most incredible speaking engagement I ever had, and I was hoping I would be invited back, and I thought I would, but the pandemic happened. But it was actually um, an ocean literacy camp for girls.
Oh my
So like
gosh.
they're learning how to basically learning about the ocean and how to help it.
Oh my gosh.
Amazing.
And you got invited to speak. I wonder who invited you to speak there. That means there's like, what is the connection there? I wonder how somebody on Hornby Island found you.
Yeah, I forget. I
Like
forget.
there's
I do know, but
there's some sort of little
yeah,
weird connection there, right? Like that is really,
totally.
really, really neat.
Yeah, they had me because I came from so far. Like everyone else just comes in, does their talk, and leaves.
Yeah.
But because I was coming from the other side of the country, they kept me for the whole week. And I did my talk on the first day, and then I did a workshop, and then I basically did all the fun things with the kids. Like
That's
I
amazing.
kayaked and did all the things, all the water sports and activities. And I was basically at summer camp for a week. It
That's
was amazing.
that's sort of what it's like there. My partner, he grew up on one of the little islands kind of off of Hornby. And so like when we go back and visit his friends and family and stuff, we're on one of those little islands as well. It's crazy. That's so neat.
Yeah, it's funny because I was on Vancouver Island. Like the woman who helped me get across to, like, she was one of the people. She's like, "Do you want me to like meet you?" Because I was like, "Oh God, this sounds overwhelming." Like
Yeah.
from somebody from Ontario getting to a tiny little island that I can't even picture where it is. So that woman lives on Vancouver Island, and after the camp, I went to her place just for one night, just to kind of break up you know,
Yeah.
the commute and then have like a nice night in Vancouver Island. And I was like, oh man, I'd love to live here. I could live here. And then it's funny because it was just after 2 months, maybe a month, just a month after a huge breakup, and very new, like 1 month after like my
Yeah.
whole life crashed down around me. And I was like, and that relationship had children and a house and all that. And I was like, oh man, I could live here. And then I was like, I could live here. Like I could do what I want, like
Yeah.
there's nothing keeping me except for my mom. My mom is keeping me here, but like it was such an amazing, and ever since then I'm like, I
Yeah.
think one day I'll live like maybe Vancouver Island. I always want to live in California too, but Vancouver's a good little stepping stone.
It is. And you know, the amount of transplants that Vancouver Island has from the East Coast, from especially Ontario,
I believe
is
it. Yeah.
crazy because people come here for the first time and they're like, holy shit. Like they can't believe the ocean and the mountains and all the things.
No,
The first
it's
time
just
I
too
went to
much.
Ontario, I was completely fucking gobsmacked too because you guys have such a big sky because you don't have you have mostly smaller trees and rolling hills. You don't have these massive mountains around you. And I remember being in Ontario, and we have family on like a kind of a little farm area, like around Elmira outside of Stratford, and being like, the sky is massive here. Like you can
That's
see the
so cool.
sun.
I never thought of that, but
Yeah,
it
like
makes sense.
you can see the sun literally rise on one side and set, you know, in another spot. Whereas for me, everything's like closed up in a mountain. So you see the sun come up with the mountains and go down over the mountains, kind of.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I bet
So
you your sunsets and your sunrises look different too, like the colors and stuff, because,
totally
yeah, wow, that's so cool. I never thought of that.
neat. Yay.
Anyways, we can get to the interview. I just had to tell you that because I was like, oh my God, I know you'll know Hornby.
Yes. I know Hornby. I know it well. They have lots of dance parties and
So tell us
raves and
about
like
your
hippie raves there and
speaking.
stuff.
I
They
heard
do.
that actually.
So tell us a little bit about your speaking
Yeah.
engagements. Like, how are they scheduled? Do people find you? Do you have an agent that reaches out to people for you?
I am part of a big speakers bureau, but they don't do anything for me. I do all of my publicity and PR, and I get all of my speaking engagements, and it's basically just promoting online, getting the word out, and then word of mouth. The more I speak and the more I post, the more people hear about me and want to hear me speak or have me speak at their event. So right now it's like killing me. It's killing my career. Obviously,
Yeah.
like I'm not even really doing virtual gigs right now because we were at a place where we could do in person, and then this new bullshit Omicron came out, and now all the in person have been postponed. They don't want to do virtual. They want to wait till we could do, which I appreciate. I really love the in person connecting with people in real life, but yeah, I haven't made any money since like October.
Jeez. So I just
Yeah.
was thinking, like, okay, so can you explain to maybe the people that are listening why you do motivational speaking, why you're a professional speaker, what your speaking engagements are about? Because right now we're on video and we may post this video, but for people that might not know who you are or who are just listening and just tuning in, tell us a little bit about
Okay.
yourself and how you got into that.
Sure. Well, I know what you're getting at. I was
Yeah.
born missing my arms, and I have missing bones in my legs. So I do have feet. Don't listen to the song. I do have feet and legs, but they're just shortened. I don't have any femurs or knees. So I'm 3'5". I used to be 3'5.5", but I think that was my mohawk. So that being said, I've just kind of always lived my life, to its fullest, going to punk rock shows and having a blast and, doing what I'd want to do. And for some reason that inspired people throughout the years. Just me going to the grocery store inspire people, and me putting on my coat before I went out into a blizzard to go to work inspire people. And at first I kind of hated that because I was like, I'm just going to work like you are, I'm just at the grocery store because we all need groceries. And then I realized something. I realized there's so much negativity and hate and darkness in the world, and if I'm inspiring somebody to get off their butt and do something rad or love themselves or just live their life to its fullest, that's a good thing. And I kind of had this light bulb moment, and I realized that I've always loved entertaining. I've always loved being on stage and telling stories. Why not? Well, people make money doing this.
Yeah.
I knew that, and I was like, I think this is what I was put on this earth to do. And then when I started doing it, I realized it is what I was put on this earth to do. That and singing, which we'll get to later.
Yeah.
But just sharing my story and spreading my positivity throughout the world, and hopefully making a difference, because we all hope that we can make a positive change in the world, even a tiny bit.
Mm-hmm. That's amazing. I, like get in just preparing for this interview and stuff and scrolling through like your social media and your Instagram and different things like that. It was super inspiring to me. Like there's pictures of you, like especially like your body positivity posts and stuff. And like that's something I'm super struggling with right now, and like Chris and I talk about it all the time, but like seeing your posts and you have like a nudist one and you've got like these amazing like hula hoop videos and you're wearing these like super cute fucking outfits and you're just like putting yourself out there, and I'm like, holy shit, like it was inspiring in just the scrolling through your Instagram kind of thing. So I can
Thank
only
you.
imagine what your professional speaking feels like.
Body positivity is something that so many people struggle with, and I realized that, like, almost everybody,
Yep.
including myself, like we all do. So that's why I'm like, it doesn't matter what age, we're living in these bodies. Like
Mm-hmm.
we have no choice but to live in these bodies. Like I can't imagine hating. Well, I can't imagine. I've hated my body before. So just living your whole life that way. So I kind of, yeah, and I do love shock value. So that's where the naked stuff comes out, and and I am comfortable being nude, and uh I think it does show people that I am comfortable with my body, even though it may not be quote unquote perfect. These are my air quotes, by the way.
Air quotes.
And yeah, I started doing those nude hula hooping videos when we were stuck in the first lockdown, because I was like, I need to do something to entertain and be entertained. But yeah, and I love doing the hula hoop videos, and now I'm singing and hooping at the same time, which is not easy, but it's fun.
Kristen, have you seen those videos of her
Yeah.
on Instagram? What
Yeah.
the fuck? Hula hooping and singing so perfectly. I was like, I'm out of breath, like setting up for my podcast, and never mind hula hooping and singing those
A lot
songs.
of people are like, how do you have the stamina? I'm like, I don't know.
It's
I just,
insane. I know. It's so good.
For those of you who haven't seen it, my thing I'm really proud of, which was not easy at all, it was really fucking hard. I sang, and no, I didn't sing. Because I was like, that is something I'll conquer later. I want to conquer hula hooping continuously to the entire decline. And I did that.
Man.
I didn't sing, and now I'm like, oh, now I feel like a loser. I should have sang. But it was
hard.
That was a lot of work. It was a lot of work.
It's
yeah.
not an
Yeah,
easy
that's
one.
really hard. With your speaking engagements, I'm curious, like you're giving these gifts to these people, then they're inspired and all those things. What's been the most inspiring event for you? You know, what have you gotten back from doing that?
I think what stands out most for me when you ask me that question is it's kids coming up to me after my presentation as they're supposed to be going back to class, but they rush over and they have tears in their eyes and they say things like, because it's happened so many times. One person said, I've always been a tomboy and people made fun of me, but now I feel that I can embrace being that person. Or someone else had tears in her eyes saying, I always get bullied and I even get death threats from other kids at my school, which is, I can't even. And she had tears in her eyes and she's like, you've given me an inspiration to stand up to those bullies. Or I've always hated this part of myself, but now you've inspired me to love that part of my, right? Like literally, I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to bawl my eyes out right now. Like this is what I was put on the earth to do. Like all I'm doing is sharing my stories, and these kids are so impacted that they have to come and tell me that they've always hated this part of them. And now they've learned that they can embrace it, and adults too, but kids, it's like, whew.
Getting that seed in those kids' brains early, right? Like that's so important. I mean, when you said
you can see it in their eyes, their eyes are wet, you know, like they're emotional. They're not just saying it. Like they've been affected so positively by what I've said, something I said, that it's changed how they thought about themselves. Like what? It's amazing. I'm so grateful for that.
Do you do like in your speaking engagements, do you talk about music at all? Do you talk about punk rock? Is that a side of you that comes out with your public speaking?
Yes, but when I speak to kids like up to high school, I've stopped taking that stuff out because they cannot relate. They don't like punk rock. They don't know it. They don't know NOFX. They don't know any good bands. And I try my best to educate, but like the NOFX story, which I'm sure we're going to talk about, used to be part of my talk because it's a huge part of who I am and it's changed my life. But it was literal crickets. Anybody? Oh, I would say anybody here know the band NOFX? Literally teachers would put their hands up.
Because I was just thinking.
I stopped saying, talking about it, but when I speak to adult or grown-ups or whatever, like adult groups, I talk about music. I talk about punk rock. I talk because there are literal fans in the audience, even if it's a corporate thing. There's that one person that's like, oh my God, are you Nubs? So
so it's funny because like when you were just talking about like making an impact on these high school kids and stuff, you know, obviously there's like the body image issues and the self-confidence and the bullying that you spoke of, but like had I been like a 17-year-old, 16-year-old girl and someone like you came to my school and I saw that there was a woman who was into punk rock, it would have fucking changed my life. It would have blown me the fuck away because we didn't have a lot of that. And, you know, that goes back to like why Mable started and, you know, like that sort of thing. Like for me growing up, punk rock was a guy's thing. It was the guys in the band. And there was these odd women for sure that stuck out.
I was always the only girl. Like when I went to shows, it was me and my guy friends. Same with us. And I loved that. At the time I embraced it and all this, you know, like I love all my guy friends, but like now I know so many amazing punk rock women, and it just like being on this podcast, like I was like, yes, I want to be part of this because like there's, you know, we got to stick together and like pump each other up, and because you go to a show, there are more girls at shows now, but like still a boys club.
Still. Kristen, could you imagine being in high school and sitting in your fucking gym auditorium or whatever and having Nubs like or have Talli like come to your fucking gym to talk to you and she asks anybody if they know of the band NOFX? Would you not have like lost your shit?
Yeah, that would have been awesome.
If
Even
I
as
had,
an adult too.
As an adult
if
too,
I,
if I saw you speak, I'd be in the audience like, ah.
if I had some, like, a punk rock woman who, similar to me, I don't want to say if I had me, like, that's
Yeah.
weird, but like just a woman who's in punk rock and like doesn't give a fuck what people think and wears the what she wants, and like the fact that I'm a speaker now, and I usually before the pandemic made money this way, and like I work for myself. Do you know how hard I tried and tried to fit inside boxes that employers wanted to put me in, and worked so hard to get jobs that were so much easier for everyone else, or proved that I could do it, and literally not get the job because they couldn't think I could type.
Yeah.
And now I've created my own job. Like, I wish I knew I could create my own job.
Mm-hmm.
That is something I think about. Like, it's like, what do you want to be when you grow up? What do you want to be? And you look at the 5 things they've given you,
Yeah.
And it's like, I guess I'll be a social worker. That was my thing. Like, I went to school for social work because I was like, I guess I'll be a social worker. And then I didn't even finish university because I realized, you've discover who you are. It's like, I don't want to be a social worker.
Mm-hmm.
I still don't know what I want to do with my life, but I don't want to be a social worker.
And yet you found your own way you're in a career path where you're helping people in a very similar way.
Yes, that's the funny thing is I'm still helping people. And like at 18, 19, I knew I wanted to help people. But the beauty is I didn't have to be corporate. I had people say, Talli, if you want to be a professional speaker, you have to tone down how you look. You got to tone down your punk rock. You got to if you want to work for TD Bank. I'm like, I don't want to fucking work for TD Bank if they don't want to have me,
Yeah.
And like, I remember somebody saying that to me, TD Bank in particular. And like, I was like, that's discouraging. Like, it makes you feel like you have to tone it down. And there were moments where I'm like, I gotta like wear a dress that comes up to here, and I gotta do this and do that. And when I go to schools, I don't have the girls out like this, obviously. It's because I'm a human being. I know how to dress appropriately. But the fact that I didn't listen and I didn't tone down who I was has made me more successful.
Mm-hmm.
Because people see that I'm being me and it inspires them. And it's like, duh. I'm not going to be an inspirational speaker and not and tone down who I am.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like psychotic. And it's like against punk rock too.
Right.
Yeah. Talli, what was your experience gaining body positivity? Were you always super positive about being different, or were you conscientious of it, or what was your experience kind of
my whole childhood? I was conscious of it. I felt different. I looked different everywhere I went. Everyone stared at me, and I was actually fitted with prosthetic arms and legs. And then I was even more different, even though the people helping me, like encouraging me to wear those, were trying to help me fit in, but it did the opposite. And yeah, kids made fun of me. Like, literally, I remember thinking, like, looking at the kids in school who loved rock and roll and punk rock and wondering why they weren't my friends, because we had so many things in common, and yet they wouldn't be my friend. And I know why now, but at the time it was such a thing where my little brain was like, I don't get it.
Yeah.
I loved Guns N' Roses when I was young. So like, I had a Guns N' Roses necklace, and this other guy had a Guns N' Roses like something t-shirt, and he was like, I like your necklace. And I was like, I don't get why we can't be friends.
Right.
Because back then that's all it took.
Yep.
That's all it took to be friends with somebody. You like the same band, or you like something different, or something same. And it was so hard for my brain to wrap around why I saw the kids that should be my friends.
Yeah.
I could see them. We had the same style and everything, but they weren't.
But there was a barrier. There was something there.
Yeah.
Do you think it's still that way? Do you think that the like awareness of people who are different, people with different abilities, disabilities, like, do you think that has changed or come along, or like, progressed, or do you think it's still the same way?
It has changed for the better, but not
enough.
Not at all. And not for kids.
No.
Still, kids like me are still going through what I had to go through, probably worse, because bullying's worse now. There's cyberbullying now. What? Imagine. Like, I get cyberbullied all the time now. I couldn't imagine being a kid.
Yeah.
So for kids, I don't think it, no, I know that it hasn't gotten better because I talk to kids.
Yeah.
And it's worse. They
Yeah.
get death threats. Like, what? And they get caught, like, they get slut shamed. We got slut shamed. I was never a slut when I was young because boys didn't like me because I had no arms. But, like, it happened.
Yeah.
It happened then, and it's still happening now. And I think for me, I have so much confidence and I embrace who I am, like, overflowing, like I'm just like, yeah, here's the tiniest top I could find to embrace. This is my body. Do you know what I mean? So, like, literally, it's not even a real top. Look,
Yeah.
like, literally, I'm just like, this is me. And I think people, they feel my positivity from that. So I don't feel as much negativity now, not even close, not even a quarter of what I felt, not even a third. Like, just, it's here and there, but because people are uncomfortable with the uncomfortable, right? So if I feel uncomfortable, it's going to make you uncomfortable. But you see me and I'm smiling and I got my pink hair and, I am embracing being me and I'm loving my life. It makes you feel more comfortable.
Yeah.
And so I feel that when I started embracing being me, which you asked me that, Kristen, and I didn't even answer that question. But
I probably interrupted.
It's
kind of my thing.
I don't know
Sorry.
where that went, but when I started embracing my body and being me, I felt the difference. I felt similar people being attracted to me. Like in university, okay, I'm going to tell you the story now because they connect. So basically, I went away to university downtown Toronto. I went to school for social work, and I ditched the prosthetic arms a long time ago because I couldn't do anything with them on. But when I went to university, I still had those legs. They were like stilts, but with feet at the bottom and shoes on the feet, like skate shoes. And so I moved into my new place and it was Frosh Week. So Frosh Week is more kind of like gym class, right? You're doing activities, you're doing fun things. So gym class, I always did things as quote unquote little Talli. Okay. So Frosh Week, I was little Talli and I was doing all the activities. And then first day of school, I put my legs on because I literally wore my legs every single school day for 19 years. So this is what I did, even though there was no one there to tell me I had to. So I put them on and I went down to the cafeteria to get some breakfast. And I ran into a new friend who actually was a guy I had a crush on, of course, already. And he saw me. Like, all of a sudden I went from 3 foot to 5 foot. And he was just like, I don't remember exactly what he said, but it was something along the lines of, whoa, what are you doing wearing those? You don't have to. And that moment of acceptance changed my life. I'm not kidding you. That moment, it was such a memorable moment where I was like, fuck, you're right. And I went to school, I came back, I took those legs off, and I have never put them on ever again. I was downtown Toronto, so I went out shopping and I bought new clothes that really accented my body, my figure, like not ones that were like for tall Talli and were baggy. I wore really baggy clothes to cover my body. And like hoodie over top of a shirt and the big baggy stuff, you couldn't see anything but the clothes. And I went out and I bought new clothes that accented my body, and it was almost immediately I felt the difference of people around me. Every single girl in my entire residence with colored hair became my friend, not on purpose. We just were like magneted to each other. And of course I know it's materialistic, but it's what, as young people, it's, you see your person that you're like, oh, that person's like me.
It's a
right?
connection. Yeah.
And, yes. And I remember one of the first like events, all of us standing there, and we were the only like 5 girls with colored hair, and I felt like I was home. And all of my friends were all guy friends, and that guy that I told you about, he loved punk rock so much, and him and I started going to punk rock shows together. And it was like all these people, these great, and not, they didn't just have pink hair and like punk rock, they were good people. Punk rockers are good people most of the time. They were good people that loved me for who I was, and I loved them for who they were, and we embraced who we were, and we didn't care. And I told you in high school, like in all of school, I didn't date. And I can't explain it, but as soon as I stopped wearing those legs and I bought new clothes that accented my body and felt comfortable and confident, there was like a lineup of boys that wanted to kiss me. Do you know what I mean? It was like, and I was just, and I've always been boy crazy, like even before you could be, like when kids were like, ew, cooties. I wasn't even a cootie girl.
Me
I wanted to
neither.
be, right? So I was just like,
Wow.
yes, you know, and I swear to you, I swear it wasn't the fact that my clothes maybe a little bit fit my body better, but it was the confidence. I swear to you, it was 95% confidence.
What an amazing story. I got goosebumps like so many times while you were telling that story.
Thank you. I sometimes give myself goosebumps, which is hilarious. And also like, I'm doing a good job if I'm giving myself that, like once in a blue moon, I get off the stage, I'm like, whoa, I gave myself goosebumps. And that's hilarious to me. It's like I'm being conceited, but I can't help it.
That's amazing.
This kind of ties into meeting Mike, Fat Mike, for the first time. But are some people still inappropriate with you? And if so, how so?
Every day. Oh my God, even more inappropriate, because now that I am embracing me and I am, you know, showing off my body and showing the world that I'm a sexual being and this and that. Oh man, the inappropriateness. And there's all guys that have, you know, amputee fetishes. That is my life all the time. I actually wrote a song about it. We'll talk about that as well. Yeah, I just wrote a song about it. And it's the second song I wrote about it because it just keeps following me. These weird, creepy men who literally only want me because I have no arms. And it's like, okay. Like anyone who's going to be attracted to me is going to be attracted to every part of me. The fact that I have no arms is part of me, but not just that.
It's a really, so my career path, I work with special needs. I work with children with disabilities. I'm an advocate for people with disabilities. That's what I've done for 20 plus years. So I feel like I could talk to you for hours about all of this. Like I could totally railroad the whole podcast, but it's interesting that you were just talking about being, and I don't know, like, when you talk about yourself, do you say I'm a person with a disability? Is that how you speak of yourself before I keep talking? No. Okay.
I am part of, I just have to quickly say that.
Yeah.
I've been struggling with calling myself disabled because like, I just don't feel disabled.
Okay.
And a lot of people in the disability community don't like that I say that. I am fine with being part of the disability community.
Yeah.
The disability community is a part of my life.
Yes.
But I can't call myself disabled.
Okay.
It's really hard.
Okay.
But I guess I am a person with a disability. That's a little less weird to me.
There's a lot of language that changes, and you know what? It's honestly one of those things that, like, as individuals, you get to choose how you speak about it, and how
that one doesn't offend me. Like if you're like people with disability, it doesn't offend me, so you can use it because it is the nicest one.
Right. So I follow a lot of people on Instagram who have different abilities, disabilities, however people want to say it that suits them. And I follow this one girl specifically, and her whole social media is basically letting people know that it's okay to be a sexual being when you have a disability. And she's in a motorized wheelchair, and she can't walk, and she has different things going on, and she's, you know, like stunningly gorgeous, and she does like lingerie photos, and she posts pictures and videos of her with like a man that she is close with and different things. And I find her totally fascinating because it is this weird balance of like, hey, this is who I am. It's totally fucking normal. We all have sexual desires and urges and beautiful bodies, but then also attracting the people, like you said, who they like it for that one specific reason, right? So
you can't get this point across and not attract these people at the same time.
It's such, and she posts about it often, and she posts about a lot of fucking horrible things that people say about her, and death threats and horrible comments and stuff. And she just keeps going, and it's a really fascinating part of that community that I think is kind of coming out into the open now more than it used to. Mm-hmm. You know, like, because like, who would think that someone in a wheelchair wants to have sex? People assume that they don't. People assume they don't want to.
In high school, one of the most common questions guys would ask me and this is high school, can you have sex? It's like, I have a body, I have a vagina.
Yeah.
Like, what? Yes, I can. And it was just like, adults don't ask me that because obviously I can.
Yeah.
But it was always such a funny question to me. I was like, what? Can I? Well, of course I can.
Of course I can.
Like,
Yeah. Are you inquiring because you want to, or
right?
people, and part of it is people are just unaware. People are curious. People have no idea. Some people come across as, being total fucking assholes when they don't mean to be. And then there are people who are just total fucking assholes. There's like so many,
Yep.
spectrums of people who are curious and interested. And, so yeah, that's just something that I find super fascinating. People who have different abilities, different bodies, different things going on, and the advocacy around it being you being a sexual being, because that's a normal thing to be. Yeah,
Yeah. I had to like tone down the sexuality part of my social media and the nude stuff because I speak to kids.
yeah,
It I don't want to get too into it because I could talk forever about it. It's really a hard struggle for me because I've been told when I was doing those nude hula-hooping, like, you should be banned from speaking to all kids. How dare you? You're disgusting. Or like friends of family and friends who are teachers who are in the school system are saying, Talli, I'm warning you, like, if you don't stop posting these nude videos, and they're not sexual.
Yeah.
They are just hula hooping naked, and my nipples and vagina are censored out because you have to. It's like school boards will not let you speak. And I was like, and I actually asked a really cool friend of mine who was a teacher, and she was like she's not a corporate person. She's not uh, what's the word?
like conservative by the book.
Conservative. She's
Yeah.
not conservative in real life. And she was like, yeah, they're right. Like, if you keep those videos up, you won't be able to speak at schools anymore. And it broke my heart because speaking to kids is like so important to me.
Yeah.
So I'm still myself, but I've had to tone that shit down
Yeah.
because it's really important for me to be able to reach out to kids. So
we have a friend, you were on his podcast, Kevin, on the you got to sit down for this podcast. He's a friend of ours.
Yep.
And he has the same situation. His stand-up comedy, he has two totally different sides to him, and he has talked to us a little bit about that struggle as well, of keeping those two lives kind of separate, just because the speaking to children and at schools is so important.
Yeah, we talked a lot about that.
Yeah.
I bet you it's way easier for him though, because he's not a female.
100%.
Right.
100%.
Like this top, I would not be able to go to school with this top on.
No.
Not the short part, but I mean just having cleavage. Like I have big boobs. I can't help but have cleavage. You know what I mean? Now,
I know the struggle.
This top, I love this top, but like, I just mean like a normal dress, I have cleavage, and it's like, how dare you? How dare you show part of your body part at a school, which most of their moms have, and they will have one day.
100%. Yeah, exactly.
So let's talk about, I've heard the story, and I'm sure you've shared it a million times, the story of meeting Fat Mike, and I guess the reason I thought about people saying inappropriate things, I mean, this is just Mike. I've met him before too, but I think he said something like, "What's wrong with you?" or "What's your deal?" or something.
He said, "What happened to you?"
What happened to you?
Shit.
Yeah. So basically, I met him. I watched the show side stage, and then I went backstage, and my friend was like, "Should we go?" And I was like, "No, I want to meet these guys now. Like, tonight's the night." And so I hung around and saw the other bandmates, Hefe and Smelly, not Smelly, Hefe and Melvin walk by, and I still was like, I got to meet Fat Mike. And then I saw him. This door opens up, and I see him standing in the doorway of this little party room. So I walk up to him and I said, "Hey," and he's like, "Hey, how's it going?" I'm like, "Good. How are you?" It's like, "What happened to you?" I'm like, "Nothing. I was born like this." And he was like, "You have thalidomide or something?" And I don't know if you know what thalidomide is, but it's like, yeah. And I was like, "No, I'm too young. Like, come on." And then he was, because it happened in the 70s and I wasn't born then. And then he was like, I saw you rocking outside stage. You coming to the show? Coming to the bar after? And I was like, I don't know. And then I left. And I did not get into a pack and get on someone's back. That is fictional. But I walked away on my feet. And that was it. And then a year and a half later, She's Nubs came out, and I only heard it when I bought the new album. I did not know about it.
Really?
Pardon?
There was no
Yes,
conversation. There was no permission. There was no like, hey.
Yep. And that's now when you listen to it, I hope she don't get mad. I hope she thinks the song is good, not bad. They literally didn't know.
Holy shit.
And yeah. And I was like, a friend of mine was like, I think the song's about you. I was like, no, it's not. He was like, listen to the lyrics. And I listening to the lyrics, and I was like, I heard Toronto and No Arms and da da da. And I was like, holy fucking shit. And I was like freaking out.
Yeah.
And so I did what I still wasn't convinced, even though I was like, duh, obviously. But like my favorite band since I was 12 years old wrote a song about me? No, it's not real life.
Hello, no kidding.
So I did what you did back in, early 2000s. I went to Fat Records and clicked contact us. And I wrote, I heard this song and I think it might be about me, but I'm not sure. But anyways, tell the guys I love it. And that next day, Fat Mike wrote me from his AOL account and said, after 12 albums, it's hard to think of things to write about, but after meeting you, I knew you were a perfect character for a song. And he said, I'll keep a spot side stage for you next time we're in town. And he did. And the photo I posted today for his birthday, that's the first time after the song was written. He was here in Toronto with me for some Gimme Gimmes. It wasn't NOFX. And that was the first time we hung out. Yay! That was the first time we hung out after the song. And,
is that the picture of you? Are you in like the basket of the bike he's riding? Is it that picture?
No, it's the one of me on his shoulders.
Okay, yeah.
But the funny thing is, I'm actually not in the basket. I'm actually sitting on the bar.
Oh, it looks like you're in the basket in the picture.
I know. But if you really think about it, how small is my body?
You're not that small.
Right.
No, but there's other photos of me from the side, and you can see, like, I'm basically side saddled to the bar. But the one photo looks like him in the basket. It's hilarious.
I love that story because Kristen and I also so I'm turning 40 this year. Kristen's 42, right? 42. You're 43? Fuck. So
almost 44.
We're around the same age. How old are you, Talli?
Oh, are we not? We probably shouldn't ask.
Is that a rude thing? Am I not allowed to ask that? I thought that was okay.
No, it's rude if you're a man.
Okay.
I'm 41 and a half.
Okay, so we're all within the same couple years. We all graduated.
Really are.
Yeah. So like we were all listening to the same bands when we were 12. We were all like, buying the CDs off of mail order and, those kinds of things. And so like Kristen and I, we started Mable Syndrome and going like, first of all, nobody's going to listen to us. Nobody wants to know about us. Second of all, we'll probably never get an interview except for maybe like, the face-to-face guys, because we kind of have an in. But other than that, like we sort of were like really down on ourselves. And, you flash forward however many years later and like when we've made the joke before, you go into my email contacts, when you type in J, you get like Jughead from Screeching Weasel and Jesse Michaels from Operation Ivy. And you have all these things. And sometimes Kristen and I still like, I look at it and go like, what? This is our life. Like these are the opportunities we have. That's insane. So I can totally relate to you going like, my favorite band and this song's about me. Like my head would explode. That's insane.
Yeah, I know. And it was like I was high for 1 year, and I don't do drugs.
Yeah.
Like I felt so high on life, and the energy I got from people seeing me and being like, Nubs, oh my God, are you Nubs? Like, can I hug you? And it just like, if I wasn't embracing who I was then, I was really, because people were, no, even though that song pictures me, like it paints an even more gnarly picture than I really am.
Yeah.
People still were attracted to me in a positive way. They were excited. They wanted to meet me. They wanted to hug me. And it, yeah, punk rock saved my life. But no, punk rock definitely helped me embrace who I am and just live life to its fullest. And I think a lot of us can say that about punk rock.
Yeah, 100%. Also, did that just sound like I was like stupid lame name dropping when I just like made that comment about like my email?
No,
because that was so not the intent of my story. But now that I'm thinking about it, it sounds kind of douchey. So that was not my intent. It was just to show fun. Like the mind-boggling thing that can happen when you like when you you grow up a certain way and you have these things.
You've created something amazing where your heroes are, you're interviewing your heroes. It's like, you did that. Nobody did that for you.
No.
You did that.
No, nobody did. It's all Kristen's brainchild. I just got to come along. So I always have to give her that. Yeah.
That's not true. But that's punk rock too, right? It's about family and everybody and everybody embracing people's differences too. And
it's about being different.
Yeah. Yeah. And loving who you are.
Yeah.
Because you're different.
Not giving a fuck what people think at all.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It's a beautiful thing.
Do you consider Mike a friend now still?
Mike? Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I'm going to FaceTime him. I texted him earlier, happy birthday, but I'm going to FaceTime him after. Hopefully he answers.
And so like now at the, do you still sometimes look at your life and go like, holy fuck, I just text Fat Mike. Like it's no big deal. Even though you're friends and it's cool and it's not a big deal, it's still in the back of your mind is a little bit
I sometimes do it to myself. Like I listen to NOFX and I think about the songs that I loved when I was a kid. And I think, holy fucking shit, he's my friend.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and I do it on purpose because it's, I don't know, it just feels awesome.
Yep.
And like, I was going to say, I didn't want to name drop because no, you've talked about name dropping, but like the other day I went to dinner with Joey Kate 2 nights in a row, not the other day, but like a couple weeks ago. And he's been a hero of mine too. And he's a very good friend now.
That's how I am with Face to Face. Same thing. Like, as it's an ongoing joke that this is
face-to-face guys too. Yeah, they're friends of. Oh, I love those guys.
Like I grew up and they're my top favorite band in my entire life, and I grew up just like dying.
They're definitely up there for me.
And now like they come to town and we go out and have oysters together and beers before the show, and I still, I still walk away from a situation like that going like, that just happened to me. That just happened to me. But you're right. Yeah. It does feel good, and I think for me anyway, it just boils down to like how thankful I am for this culture, this life, this scene, for Kristen, for the idea of Mable syndrome and what it kind of created for us. So I can totally understand your feelings on that.
It's funny because like they're just people.
Yeah.
Like people look at me like, holy fucking shit, you wrote me back, right? Mm-hmm. And I am a human being. Of course I'm going to write you back. But sometimes people think of me like as high up as one of those guys. I don't want to say
that's how I feel about you.
Mm-hmm. So it's like, for me, I'm like, I'm just a human and they're just humans. So then like someone like Juliette Lewis, I love Juliette Lewis. I think she's awesome. I don't know if you've ever seen Juliette in the Licks, but holy fucking shit, she's a rock star. And I thought to myself, because I met her once when she was in Hamilton and we took a photo. It was a quick moment, like photo ran away. And I thought to myself, you know what? Next time she comes in town, I'm going to write her and see if she wants to hang out. Like she's a human being. Yeah. Like, why not? But she probably won't write me back, but still.
But Talli, along those same lines, like not to mention names or whatever, but has anyone disappointed you? Have you been disenchanted by meeting punk rock people a little bit?
You know what? I've had like, I don't think so. I know that's going to happen one day and it's going to be a big disappointment, but I have to say, I know Fat Mike way better than I ever could or probably wanted to know. No, I'm just kidding. Like, you know what I mean? Like the fact that some of the shit I've done with Mike, I just can't even.
Yeah.
But he hasn't disappointed me. It's because punk rockers are rad. It's not like I'm meeting like rock stars that are like mainstream rock stars. Yeah. They probably disappoint people all the time.
Well, we've each had experiences in this platform where we've, Kristen specifically, because she does more in-person interviews and stuff than I do because I live in the middle of fucking nowhere. But, like the don't meet your heroes thing, we've had a couple of those situations that have been real shitty. For the most part, not. And then it always comes back to, and I think this is a really relevant topic that happens now with a lot of stuff that's been happening in our scene is like I always sort of place it like, oh my God, if face to face, if I had like met those guys and it was like a horrible experience, like I would have been like devastated, So, but
I know
the stuff that's happening, there's been some stuff in our scene lately. And the talk of like can you separate the person from the artist, like from the art? Like if, you know, a band member is accused of this or this comes out about someone, and can you still listen to their music and like that sort of thing? And we've been asked it a few times, and our stance on the podcast has generally always been like each situation's different, each person is different, you know, kind of thing. But that's like, it kind of goes along with the do you meet your heroes thing, but like, can you separate the art from a person that might be not the greatest person?
Depends on what not the greatest person means. If
Exactly.
this person has hurt someone, there's like, do you know what I mean? Hurt anybody, a woman sexually and not, or just hurt a human being physically, or abusive in any other way. I don't think I could. I think I would just stop. I'd have to.
You'd have to. Yeah. And we've said that before, Kristen. I think you said it on the last interview we did, but like everybody has their own line to draw in that situation.
If they're just an asshole, that's different.
Yeah. We would have not a lot of art in this world if we all stopped paying attention to just people who are assholes.
Exactly. It's okay. We can all be assholes sometimes, but
yeah.
But
like we've supported different platforms of people, like different artists and things like that, and we get personal messages from people saying like, oh, but this person did this to me, or oh, this is a thing, how can you still support them? And we've had to deal with that a couple times, and we always just respond with, you know, like each person has a different line to draw, and it depends, and there's always more than one side of the story. It's very complicated.
It really is. Yeah. I think like generally speaking, if anyone is like homophobic, racist, any of those things that are like completely against who I am.
Yeah.
And I've seen it. Like if you're like, oh, what are you doing? Blah, blah, blah. Once said da 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 to me. And it's like, okay.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if that happened. I'm not talking about the Me Too movement. I'm just talking about people saying somebody said something or whatever. But yeah, it is a hard one. It is a hard one.
Yeah, we struggle with that a little bit sometimes.
Speaking about to go the other way, nice guys in the music scene. You just joined up with our buds, the Rufus brothers, and created Nubs and Her Studs.
Yes.
Love those guys.
Me too. They're the best.
Yeah, they're really amazing. So tell me how that came about.
I've been so excited to tell you guys this story.
Yay!
It's like the best part of my life right now. Like for the past couple of years. So basically, after my breakup, a friend of mine was like, I was at my friend's house, and she was like, "Oh my god, I found a guy for you," and I was like, "Who?" And she's like, "Look up Rob Rufus on Instagram." So I look up.
He's so adorable.
Oh, he's so adorable.
I'm like, hello, because he's like so hot and so cool. And then he's written all these books, and he conquered cancer and all this. And I was like, holy fucking shit, this is my dream boy. You know what I mean? Like literal dream guy. And so I went to his page and I followed him, not because he was hot, because he's done so much, and he's done so much. You know,
extremely talented. Yeah.
So I hit follow. That's it. And right away, like almost right away, I got a message from him saying, holy shit, I was just talking to my brother last night about your TED Talk, and I was in tears, and I can't believe you're adding me right now, da da da. And I was blown away that this guy already knew who I was. Never mind, was just talking about me last night. And so we started chatting back and forth, and I said, I heard you wrote a book. It sounds amazing. And he's like, I'll send it to you. So he sent me his book, and I read it, and it was literally the greatest book I've ever read in my life.
I've read it 3 times.
Yeah, I'm going to read it again. It's called Die Young with Me, for the people who don't know, not for you guys. And so we became friends. So we're just like, you know, chatting here and there. Then when the pandemic hit, we started talking more because we found ourselves both immune compromised, because I have really bad asthma, and I touch everything with like this part of my arm and like my mouth and chin, and I felt like, holy fucking shit, I can't leave my house. And Rob had stage 4 cancer. He lost one of his lungs, and his remaining lungs only 40% capacity. So he felt like, holy fucking shit, I can't leave my house. And we kind of bonded over this. We started FaceTiming, and we became really close. And we became like best friends. Like Rob Rufus is definitely one of my best friends, and I'm his best friend. He calls me his BFF, and literally we haven't met yet. And we talk every day. He is the one person on this whole planet that I can honestly say I've spoken to every single day for the past 2 years. Like, there's no one else, just Rob. I love him so much. So, we're chatting one day, and he was talking to me about one of his other bands, and I made a joke like we should start a band, but it was a joke because they live in Nashville and I live in like Canada.
Yeah.
And he kind of laughed and said, "Yeah, that'd be cool, whatever." And then the next day he called me up and he was like, "Holy shit, I talked to Nat." That's his twin brother. "He's in." I'm like, "What do you mean he's in?" He's like, "Let's start a band." And I was like, okay. And we just started, because like the way I thought about it, I was like, everyone is in lockdown right now. Even bands who are in the same town, they can't even get together. So why can't we write tunes together?
That's
and
amazing.
We started having band meetings on FaceTime and writing songs together. And now we have like 5 songs recorded, just demos. Like I've recorded vocals here, they've recorded instruments in Nashville, and we still haven't met, but we have, like, we're a legit band. We're gonna hopefully get into the studio this year and like start playing festivals. Like I'm so excited because I have never, my public speaking career, nothing I've ever done, I have never felt, oh, and I had another band called the Talli Band. I have never felt so right about anything in my life.
That's so great.
This band is it. This band is it's going to be amazing. I just know it. And I just want to tour the world with the Rufus brothers and play our songs and, inspire people through song. And I'm just so passionate now. And I don't know, this band is just like, means so much more to me than anything I've ever done in my life. And like, I tell the guys every day, I'm like, thank you so much. Like, this is the greatest thing I've ever been a part of in my life. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. Like, I was texting with Nat the other night because he's editing a couple new demos we did. And he's like, I said, "I really appreciate you." And like, he was like, "I appreciate you too," because like, I appreciate these guys so much. And they were like, "What do you want this band to sound like?" Like, they were like, "We want to make this what you want it to sound," and it was like, what? How cool. And I was just like, well, this is what I'm thinking, and they take, I don't know, we just work so well together. I've never in my life worked with people that have no ego. Like Nat will write a song and I'll say, "I like it, but I think we should go this route." "Okay, cool." "What?" Or I don't really, I think it's missing this, or and I'm always nervous about saying those things because I've done stuff with other people and they don't take it well, they take it hard. And then they make those changes and they're like, Nat calls me Nubs, Rob calls me Talli. Nat's like, "Nubs, oh, thank you for suggesting that. The song's way better now." And it's like, it's so encouraging. Rob Rufus is like my number one fan. Like, I've never felt more encouraged in my whole life than the love and encouragement I get from Rob, like, every day.
It's funny because it's like we didn't really need another reason to absolutely adore him, but now we have another one because holy shit,
right?
He's been a huge supporter of us too, like
he's
right
been
from
amazing.
right from day one.
You guys, like, he's been talking about you guys forever, and I was like, we should get on there, but I'm like, well, women, okay, I'll do it on my own. But I've never wanted something more in my life, and it's hard because the pandemic is making it not possible for it to be what I want it to be yet. It's going to happen. But it's like, I'm a type of person that if I want something to happen, I make it happen. But the pandemic is like making it so much harder. And I'm
it's
like,
just slowing it down.
You're just like building all this insane creative energy. And when it's time, it's just going to like fucking explode.
Yes. And like, I don't want to
toot your own horn, girl. Do it.
Yeah.
I know, but when you talk about your own music and you're like, it's so fucking amazing, and it's like, it's weird.
No, do it.
These songs, like, I am so excited to show the world. And it's funny because my old band, like my old band, opened up for NOFX and Joey Cape and Tony Sly and like so many amazing heroes of mine. And I loved that band, and I was proud of those songs, and people were singing along in the audience. But it's funny. Remember when I told you earlier that I wanted to write a song about like the weird, creepy people who fetishize me? And I wrote a song about that with my old band, and that one was called More to Love. And so when I was writing the lyrics for this one, I didn't want it to sound that way. Like, it's hard to write a song about the same thing and not make it sound the same. Now I am writing with two different people, and they write the music, I don't, so it obviously is going to sound different. But I went to listen to More to Love, which was probably my best song, and I was kind of like, because like, well, when I was in that band, my life was amazing. I had nothing go wrong. Like, of course, my life is challenging on a day-to-day basis, but I had no real heartbreak. I had nothing horrible really happen to me. And not to get dark, but since that band, I've had so much horrible shit happen to me, so much loss and heartbreak and grief, that I feel like I can hear it in these songs, and they're just that much more amazing, and there's so much more passion in them, and the topics are just coming from really real places, and it's like really exciting.
I'm so
You
excited.
know, don't get me wrong. I don't think the old songs were bad. It's just, oh my God, I can't wait. Like, you can hear my voice. Like, I want to cry. I can't wait to share these songs. And like, the demos we have are just demos. And I don't want to show demos. I want to show real songs. And because of the pandemic, we haven't been able to get together. And I know it's ridiculous. We haven't met yet. When I say to Rob, I can't wait to meet you, it doesn't seem real. Like, he's like, it doesn't feel like that. It feels like we haven't seen each other in a long time.
Kristen and I are the same way. Kristen's in Boston, and I'm on the west coast of Canada. And
we've never met?
No, we have. But
okay. But it took a while.
And like, you know, when you say your best friend lives in Boston and you met her on the internet and you've never met in person before, people really like sort of like poo-poo it and downplay it a little bit. But the connection you can make with someone is insane. And I have a couple friends like that, you know, and Kristen, so I understand when you say like, what do you mean you haven't met? When we met in person, it was like we had never been apart.
And that's like, people are like, what if it's not the same with Rob? I'm like, it will be.
It'll be the same.
It'll be better. It'll be better.
Yeah.
I know it. It doesn't, like, connections like this don't come often. Yeah. I honestly believe we have, like, I don't believe in soulmates. I believe we have multiple soulmates. And I do feel Rob is one of my soulmates, guaranteed, not even a question. And it's not sexual with Rob. Like, I know I was like, ooh, hello. Because he is hot.
Well, you can't deny that. But yeah.
I tell him he's a babe every day. I make him blush. It's my favorite thing. And honestly, when we're on FaceTimes, I'm laughing and they're like, what are you laughing about? I'm like, our band photos are going to be so hot. Like, I'm looking at them and I'm looking at me and I'm just like they know how I feel. You know, it's the fact that I think they're babes is not a secret.
Yeah.
But Rob and I have this bond. Like, I don't know if I've ever truly been myself than I am with Rob. Ever. I know that's a crazy thing to say. Like, maybe with my sister, but I don't know. Rob and I don't know, we bring something out in each other. So I always say to him, like, I can't wait to meet you. And he's like, I'm going to spin you around. I'm like, oh my God, I'm dying. When he says I'm going to spin you around, isn't that adorable?
It's adorable.
Like, I just keep picturing us at the airport, him spinning me around. I'm like, and I almost went to Nashville. Like, back in September, I was going to go there and record. And then because of my asthma, and I just keep feeling like, oh, is it too soon? Is it too soon? And yes, it is too soon.
So the hope is for you to get to Nashville as soon as things are healthier,
or somewhere to record.
Yeah,
we have some plans up our sleeve that don't want to talk about yet, but yeah, we're hoping to like record and release, and hopefully, like, it would be wicked to play Pooza Fest, Punk Rock Bowling, like all the festivals. But the pandemic right now is discouraging me because I thought we were going to play all those things this year. But
not yet.
Toes crossed. Toes crossed. But yeah,
let us know how we can help too.
Yeah.
I mean, we are right there in your corner, and we will do everything we can to spread the word and 100%.
Spread the message. I'm trying to get lots of followers on my Nubs and Her Studs account, so that I know I don't have any songs, but when we do release songs,
Yeah.
that there's lots of people that, you know,
Well, let's promote the shit
share
out of
it.
that. 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's, and I understand people are like, we're following you posting photos of nothing. You know, it's like, but it's exciting and it's happening. And I wonder if some people think like it's a real band you've never met, but it's like more real than anything I've ever done in my life.
That's
Like,
so cool.
yeah, and I just, the songs, you know, when you listen to a song and it gets in your soul and it makes you so happy and excited. That's what my songs do to me, and it's like, because that's what you want your songs to do, right? But like all of them, it's exciting.
That's amazing.
And it's funny because, you know, I can like my songs, but will other people? And anytime I've showed people, people are like, holy shit. And I'm like, you know, they're like, these are amazing. So it's like incredible feeling. And I have to name drop for a minute because you guys will appreciate this. So like Back Up, who badass girls, come on. Most badass women, I love those girls so much. They were on tour with Anti-Flag, and they came here when things were okay to go to concerts. And I went to see that show in Toronto, and then me and my friends drove out to Ottawa because we just had to have more. And Stacey D from Bad Cop, Stacey D and Lynn are both good friends of mine, but Stacey D, I just was like telling her about my band, and I was excited to show her. I had 2 demos at the time. And when I saw her not backstage because of COVID, we couldn't be backstage, but when I saw her like side stage, I was like, I have 2 demos. I can't wait to show you. And she was like, yeah, I can't wait to hear them. And then wasn't able to show her that because it was just too loud and we weren't allowed backstage. Then Ottawa, she's like, just send me the songs. And I was kind of like, I kind of want to show them to you. Like, I don't know. I just sending them is like, here you go, you know. And she was like, okay, hold on. Myra, you know, the drummer. Myra, do you have your speaker? And Myra's like, yeah, hold on. And then Stacey's like, everyone, we're going to listen to Talli's demos. And I'm like, no. We're not doing that. And now all of a sudden, all of Bad Cop and Anti-Flag.
Oh my gosh.
Is sitting there.
No pressure.
My heart is just, I could barf. I'm so nervous. Because it's like, you know what I don't even need to explain.
Yeah.
So I'm like getting like I'm gonna barf right now thinking about it. So I push play on the first song, and I play the first song, and everyone's like, "Holy shit! Oh my god! And the Anti-Flag guys are like, "Wow, that's amazing!" And the backup girls are like, "Oh my god, can we sing backups? Like, you're opening for us next time!" Like, everyone's excited, and it meant so much to me that, like, yes, my friends hearing it, telling me it's good is great, but like the people that inspire me.
Yeah.
And then and I remember Jenny from Bad Cop was like, do you know what our demos sounded like? They were garbage. Stacey D is like, I think I was on pills. Like, they were horrible. They're like, this is not a demo. And then so I played the second one, and so I'm facing like the speaker, and Chris number 2 from Anti-Flag's right beside me. So I can see him from like my peripheral, but he's right here. Actually, he's right here. And I'm facing the speaker because I can't look at anybody. And my friend was behind me, and she saw Chris number 2. And so what she saw and what I heard put together when I pushed play on the second song, so he's on his phone, you know, he just has his head down and he's on his phone, texting. And then I pushed play on the second song and he went, oh shit. And like, that was it. I was just like,
wow.
Yes.
And he is one talented dude.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You know, I feel weird telling the stories because I feel like I'm turning my horn, but it was like an amazing, incredible feeling of like some people that I literally purchased tickets to go see because I love them so much and love their music. And Anti-Flag is so inspiring to me, like how passionate they are on stage, and they talk about real issues. And they inspired me that tour because I was like, I think I'm going to be like that, a little less political, but just more talking about issues that I think are important. And and kind of doing my little mini inspirational talks in between songs, you know?
Right,
Yeah.
right.
So sorry to go on a tangent there, but
I also
that
just
was a
want to
really
say
cool.
about Anti-Flag too is like I saw them opening. I can't remember who I saw. Oh, did they open for Real Big Fish? I think maybe in Vancouver one time. And I liked them, but when I saw them play live, they were one of those bands that I saw play live, and I was like, "What is happening here? This is
I
incredible!"
know.
Because their live performance is one of the best live performances I've ever seen. I think.
It's
Yeah.
outrageous. And I hadn't seen them in a while. And I was just like, fuck yeah. Like Chris number 2 does like the craziest moves. I'm like, what is
Right?
happening with my legs?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I love that happened for you. That's awesome.
And we're big
It was
fans. Toot your own
terrifying.
horn. I know it's
Yes.
weird, but like I'm a big fan of being like, fucking yeah, toot your own horn. Tell us. Go
I
for
am
it.
too, but it was like they loved my songs. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it was an incredible feeling for me. Like it was just
Yeah.
like, and they were like giving me really encouraging things and just like keep going. Like this is going to be awesome. And it was just like, fuck yeah, because life is hard these days, and life is always hard, but these days it's fucking hard and it's discouraging, and especially for performers, and just getting encouragement from people that are going through the same shit and telling me that, you know, my songs are awesome.
Right.
I'm super
It's like
excited.
an amazing feeling.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Me too.
Yeah, and it makes me happy to see you so animated and happy about it too. Like it's just contagious.
You're a very
it's just
contagious
awesome.
person in terms of like how stoked you are. Like I feel like I'm gonna get off this
Well,
podcast, and normally I'm gonna go out there, my baby's awake, and I'm gonna have to like change a shitty diaper, and then I'm gonna have to start cooking dinner, and I'm gonna do my things. But I feel like super okay with it right now. I feel
it's
like
funny.
really ready for my evening of family life. Like I feel stoked.
It's funny because like I've heard that before, and it's such a nice compliment because I just feel like I'm being me. I'm not trying to be anything, but that is like yeah.
I feel
I
like I just
remember
need
first
to
time
call you up every once a week or so and just get like a little dose of like, hey, shit's really good. Go for it.
It's your PMA,
Right?
It's funny. I tried to get on Cameo because I'm like, people have asked me to do birthday greetings for their boyfriends and girlfriends and all that, and I do them, and I just do them for free. And but I'm like, I've tried to get on Cameo so many times, even if it's just like someone's in the hospital,
Yeah.
someone's having a bad day. You want an encouraging message from Nubs, and like Cameo has not got back to me because you have to submit it, and then if they accept you, they'll get a message back. And it's like, I know I'm not a famous person like Fat Mike or like somebody, you know, like
I'd consider
I
you to
don't
be
know,
a famous person.
yeah.
Joe Pesci or something. But like, I don't know why I said Joe Pesci, but I'm trying to think of somebody really famous. But it's like, obviously my cameos aren't going to be thousands of dollars. I'll make them according to who I am. But I feel like I think people would appreciate like, and I am not making any money right now, so it'd be nice
Oh my
to be
gosh,
like,
keep going after them then. Keep contacting them because
Yeah.
that's a
I've
really
done
good
it so
idea.
many- I've
It's
done it so
probably
many
based on
times.
followers.
If the Real Housewives of OC and shit like that can do Cameo, then you can too.
I have as many followers as some other punk rockers.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a lot. I have a lot of followers on Instagram. Not to like, it is what it is. They're
Is
there.
there a way like for Cameo, is there a way for people to contact Cameo and be like, hey, this like where's this person? Could we ask for this
Oh,
person
like
or
a request.
suggest? Like, is there a request for people to like
Maybe can we ask our followers to do that? Because
yeah.
it's like you basically it's a form you submit, and they say if you're accepted, we'll contact you. That's it. And it's
Okay,
like,
well, if there's a platform for that, I'm telling all of our listeners right now and all of Talli's listeners, like go to Cameo. Let's campaign to get Talli on Cameo.
Yes.
because I feel like well, I have had people ask me multiple, about
Yeah.
5 or 10. I've done them.
I'd pay you for a
free.
weekly message.
Like, PayPal me $25. Like, I don't mind doing it, but
Yeah.
you know, it does take effort. And I'm sorry, all the professional ones I've seen, I would my videos would be so much better.
Right?
They're like, hey Steve, hey, it's Joe Pesci here. Steve Campbell? Steve, your friend Jennifer
Yeah.
Steven wanted me to wish you happy birthday. Happy birthday.
I've actually tried I've tried to get my daughter a cameo for her birthday last year because she wrote, my daughter's she was almost 11 at the time, but her, I found a letter she wrote, or like a journal entry at school. And it said that all she wanted was to meet Jonathan Van Ness, who is from Queer Eye, the show Queer Eye. And he's like the guy who does like the hair and the makeover part. And he's like the most beautiful human being. And she wrote a letter saying that the only thing she wanted was to meet him. But he wasn't on Cameo. So now I'm thinking there must be a way to campaign to get to get people on Cameo. We're going to do it.
And I submitted, and they ask you your name, proof of who you are, and how many followers.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm sorry, 12.9 thousand followers isn't a lot. Like,
right.
Right.
We'll make it happen. It's gonna be my new mission.
And everyone follow Nubs and Her Studs too.
Yes.
Yes, Nubs and Her Studs, and Nubs 416 is mine. And get ready.
Get ready.
Yeah, get ready for us to rock your world, because it's going to happen.
This has
Thank
been
you
the
so much
coolest
for
conversation.
talking with us.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I feel like I've wanted to chat with you guys forever, especially because we both know the Rufus brothers.
Well, you know what? Like when you guys start, like get ready to release your music and stuff, we're here for you. Let's do another interview. Let's get you guys on.
Yeah, because we've had Rob on,
yeah.
but we have, and now we've had Talli, but we haven't had Nat. So all three of you guys.
Yeah, I think all of us would be fun.
It'd be awesome.
That would be awesome.
What would be cool is all of us in the same room.
Oh Lord,
I know.
Kristen and I haven't been in the same room for almost 5 years. 4 years.
Like all I want is a nub sandwich.
Yeah,
like Talli sandwich. Talli sandwich with the Rufus brothers is literally all I want for my birthday, May 15th.
I get it.
Yeah,
we feel that.
Yeah.
Talli, we usually finish every episode with a song, and we usually let our guests pick. Sometimes it puts them on the spot. Sometimes. But is there a song that pops in your head that you want to end out the episode with? It could be something new, something that's a favorite, something that's an oldie, something doesn't have to be a female punk rocker. It's whatever you want. Is there a song you want to end the episode with for us?
I kind of feel like it should be She's Nubs. Do you think?
I think so. I was hoping you would say that.
I was hoping you'd say it, but I didn't want to assume, right?
I said it because I knew it's what you guys wanted in it, and I'm stoked too. It's not that I don't want it. It's not. I'm not saying it's my favorite song in the world. It's definitely my favorite NOFX song. Duh. Yeah, let's do it. Because for those viewers who
haven't heard it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I want to hear it again. So
yeah.
Okay,
cool.
So we're gonna finish the episode with Nubs. She's Nubs by NOFX. I love it.
Yay.
Thank you, Talli.
It's kind of hard to wear high heels or slip on banana peels. How does she get in and out of tubs? I hope she don't get mad. I hope she thinks this song is good, not bad. 'Cause we think that she's totally rad, she's nuts. No fingers, no toes, she doesn't own elbows. No front and cheese, no knobby knees to knock. She don't need knuckles or hands to go see punk rock bands. She's always in the stands, she's Nubs. She can't pick up a phone, she can't get dressed alone. She's got no funny bone, she's Nubs. No shoes for feet, but we sure do think she's neat. She's Nubs, she's Nubs, she's Nubs. Toronto. I asked her to go out to the bar, but all she said was no thanks, no. It was time for us to leave, so I grabbed and took her sleeve, told her I'd see her at the next club. She got into a pack, some guy put her on his back. She said goodbye and kinda waved her stub. She's got beautiful eyes and breasts regular size, but without calf and thigh, she's Nubs. It's hard to get good head or get tied to a bed when all you've got is a body and head. She's Nubs. She's Nubs. She's Nubs. She's Nubs. She's Nubs. Oh, she may not walk the walk, and she may not like to talk, but boy, she sure knows how to rock. She's nuts.